Hi, I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about buying a house in the era of the Hgtv revolution. It's funny, when I talk to my first-time home buyers, they almost 100% of the time tell me that they would be willing to look at a fixer-upper. Now, that's a terminology we've all grown to love watching different shows on Hgtv, but the reality of a fixer-upper is quite a different prospect. I think as you begin your home search, you should consider really what your tolerance for fixing up homes is. And besides that, what's your budget? Because I'll tell you, in watching those shows, they are woefully underestimating what the costs of a renovation are. I think often they're providing half the estimate and maybe even less than that. And I think what they're doing is they're providing all the workmanship at cost or free, and the people on the shows are just paying for the materials. Well, let me tell you, in real life, that is not the way it works. So as you look at new homes, think about whether or not you have the tolerance to take the time to put in a new kitchen or to update your baths. Sometimes those things aren't that hard to do depending on what the update that they need are. I mean, maybe it's a kitchen that has oak cabinets and laminate counters, but otherwise is pretty sound. Could you tolerate painting the cabinets and putting in some new countertops? You might find that you could, and that's something you could manage yourself without hiring a general contractor, depending on how handy and how organized you are. I think that what I'm seeing is most of my clients will tell me they would like a fixer-upper, but in the end, they are almost 100% of them buying homes that have been fixed up. And one thing to keep in mind there is those homes are often pretty competitive. When you walk into a house and it gives you everything that you want, or at least it just looks fantastic, there's probably going to be other people that think the same thing. And so you have to ask yourself, what are those improvements like? Are they high quality improvements, or are they just quote unquote sexy improvements? You know, did they paint the house gray, put in stainless appliances and change the countertops, and that's it? And are you going to find out that in a year those cabinets aren't really solid wood and you're going to have to make some changes anyway, and so you paid a premium because they made some updates? Those are all things to consider. Unfortunately, what we're seeing in the market right now is that you don't have a lot of times to consider anything. You have to really make your decisions quickly, and even then, in a lot of cases, you're competing. So I guess I'm not trying to give you an answer here. I'm just trying to give you some things to think about, because, you know, the other thing about buying a house that's already been updated is that at some point you probably are going to want to do some updates yourself and make that home your own. Are you going to throw away the things that you just paid somebody else to put in on your behalf? So, so maybe they put in brand new carpet, but what you've really wanted is hardwood. So you're going to live in the house for 5 or 6 months and then replace all that carpet with hardwood. Well, that's just going into the landfill. So instead of paying a premium for something that you don't really want, wouldn't it be better to perhaps find a house that they haven't updated the carpet yet and it looks a little grimy, but you could go ahead and get what you wanted and pay less for the house? All things to consider, and things that we would consider as we go through houses and as you look at different options. And frankly, what I find is that as we talk through what people can expect and what it would take to get a house the way that they want it, it helps people to refine their idea of what it is that they're looking for. Buying a house isn't easy, and there are a lot of things to consider, but I just want to caution everybody about getting sucked into too much of the Hgtv way of life, because unfortunately, that's not how it works in the real world. Have a great afternoon, and let me know if you need any advice on purchasing your first home. Thanks.